when a dog is sick.
So today we have with us, this is Burns, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he's a neutered male, about a year and a half old?
A year and a half, that's right.
And what's going on with Burns today?
Well, I don't know what's wrong with him. As you can see, he's pretty lethargic, and usually he's bouncing, off the walls and everything. He had been throwing up. He's off his food, so I don't really know what's going on with him.
When did all this start?
I'd say probably within the last 24 hours or so.
Okay.
And yeah.
Did he get into something, get into the trash, or eat anything unusual? Did you give him a new food?
No, I mean the only thing I can think of is every week we watch our grandson comes over and he likes to play with the dog, and sometimes he'll give him things that maybe he shouldn't have had. Wait a second. He did have some coins and stuff out that he was playing with, Colin, our grandson. And is it possible that dogs eat money?
Yes, retrievers will eat almost anything.
Great.
And coins are a big concern. They don't seem like they should be,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest of the coins are pretty good, but pennies are very, very toxic. Pennies have a lot of zinc in them, and zinc is very toxic to animals. The stomach acid actually removes the outside layer of the pennies, and within 24 to 48 hours, they can be very, very sick.
Oh,
so, okay, well, let me do a physical on him.
Okay.
Then we will probably draw some blood, and then we'll get an x-ray.
Okay.
One good thing about eating money is the coins do show up on the x-ray.
Right.
So nothing shows up on x-rays except stones, bone, metal, and a couple kinds of plastic. Most plastic doesn't show up at all. I've taken pieces of wood out of dogs that were this big that didn't show up on the x-ray at all. So it wasn't until we got into the exploratory and found this huge thing in there that we actually realized what it was.
Now, will he just like pass that, or not?
You potentially, if there weren't pennies in there, you wouldn't have even known he was sick.
Right.
You may have seen some coins in his poop.
Okay.
But if there's pennies in there, that's what's causing all the symptoms.
Okay.
So some dogs are basically goats in dog clothing, and they will eat literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had some pretty strange things that passed all the way through dogs, and also some very strange things that we wound up having to take out surgically.
Okay.
All right. So we are going to take him to the back. We're going to draw some blood. And see what his blood values look like to make sure that we can do the surgery safely. And then we'll take an x-ray and see what the x-ray shows. But I'd be willing to bet there's some coins in there and who knows what else. So, all right. Well, we'll move to another part of the hospital then, okay?
All right,
buddy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take the money and run, huh, buddy?
Here we have two veterinary technicians stretching out Mr. Burns so that an x-ray or a picture of his insides can be taken. You'll see Technician Kelly look at the floor there because it's a foot pedal that takes the picture. And here we have the result of the x-ray, in which we can see, most notably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 round items, which we believe to be coins. But what's the other item that you see? If you said a paperclip, I sure see it too.
All right, so Mr. Burns is getting some blood drawn before his surgery. So the way Kelly's holding him, she's holding his head up against her so that if this hurts and he's crabby because his belly hurts and he doesn't feel good, so I'll be able to draw the blood safely. And then she's using her other hand to hold off the vein, to put a little pressure on it so that I can hit it with a needle more readily and we don't have to poke him more than once. So I'm just going to draw some blood. And then we're going to take this to the lab and run it and make sure his kidney and liver function is okay, and we'll be able to give him certain anesthesia and certain drugs for his pain relief and so forth. So, all right. So there's our blood sample. Very good boy, Mr. Burns. All right. So unfortunately, Mr. Burns did eat some coins and a paperclip. So there's a handful of coins, it looks like, and a paperclip in there, and they're of different sizes. I'm sure that some of them are pennies, more because of his vomiting and how bad he feels and everything else. The good news is they're relatively easy to get out. They're all still in the stomach. We should be able to get them out with surgery pretty readily.
Yeah.
And they recover very quickly as soon as that zinc is out of their system. So it's going to be an exploratory surgery. We're going to have to open his abdomen, open his stomach, take out all the coins, and then we'll re-x-ray just to make sure something didn't slip through into the intestines. And then we'll close them up and send them home. If dogs eat coins, most coins aren't a problem, but pennies are deadly toxic. So not feeding them anything but dog food and sometimes people food in very small quantities is a good idea. It's just the safest way to take care of them. And then make sure that you're keeping track of them, especially if they're a lab, so they don't get into anything.
A few hours later, after the surgery.
Great news. Burns did great during surgery. He's still sleeping from the medicine that we gave him so that he would be still during the surgery. So we're going to wake him up now so that way he can go home to his family later. Would you like to see what we pulled out of Burns' belly? We got multiple coins, including a penny. This little penny is what was making Burns so sick. And then also, we saw it on the x-ray, a paper clip. Can you imagine what it would feel like to have a paper clip in your belly? I can't imagine that it would feel good.